If you can hear children in the background of this video at all, please forgive me. My neighbors must have some kids over and the weather is super nice right now, so I'm sure they're having a little pool day. Where to start on this video? I fear I'm going to be yapping for a while before I really organize my thoughts and what I want to say, but I'm gonna do my best. I have always loved content. I've always loved content creators, and looking back on my life, I see how much I loved creating content as well. I wasn't one of those people who got on YouTube at an early age and started making makeup videos and beauty videos, but I was the one in middle school, in high school, who was like so excited to make videos for whatever classroom projects we'd have. Whenever there was any opportunity or idea I had to make a silly video, I jumped on it. I never thought that I'd be here today at 27 years old, actually getting some income for making videos that I post on the internet. I won't get into how I actually got into making content for a living in this video. Maybe in another video I'll go into that, but for the sake of this video's topic, we're gonna cut that out. Long story short, as you can see, making content has always naturally been something I've enjoyed in my life. To have it as a career was a dream I didn't know I had until I started being able to do it. Flashing back to 2 years ago, I was coming into my second year of creating content, and the thing people don't tell you about content creation when you're first starting is how emotionally exhausting it is. As someone who has deeply struggled with needing external validation to feel good about myself, to feel like a whole human, putting yourself out there and making content for people to either like it or dislike it was kind of a recipe for my mental health to like tank. And that's where I found myself 2 years ago. I found myself in the beginning stages of chasing views, chasing followers, and not really following my internal compass for what I actually wanted to create content for. It turned into a 2-year struggle of feeling really burnt out and working really hard for the purpose of external validation rather than for the purpose of creativity or true enjoyment of this process. I had so many breakdowns. I honestly feel a little bit scared to even say all of this because people have much more difficult jobs than being a content creator, but I'm telling you the truth, and the truth is I felt weak, emotionally weak. That led to me experiencing multiple breakdowns where I just felt really depressed, really anxious, really confused about life. I kept asking God or the universe, like, if I'm not meant to be doing content, like what should I do instead? I kept asking and asking and asking for an answer, but every time those breakdowns would pass, I'd have another couple good days thinking like, oh no, I love content, like this is what I'm meant to be doing. It finally came to a point last year where I was like, I can't keep living my life like this. I can't keep having such high peaks and valleys, and the peaks only last a couple days and then I'm back to feeling really discouraged and sad and depressed and confused. And that's when I started receiving little crumbs from the universe or from whatever. The book Eat, Pray, Love found its way into my hands. I think I actually watched the movie first, and the way this all kind of manifested, I wish I had the time to tell you guys like each little breadcrumb I received, because to me it's a truly like fascinating journey getting where I am now. The book Eat, Pray, Love ended up in my hands. I read it and I was simply like taken aback, because even though our stories, me and Elizabeth Gilbert's stories, are completely different, the book spoke to me like it did for so many other women in a way that like I was being called to something, and that something ended up being me deciding I need to go on a solo trip to Europe. Originally, I wasn't even supposed to go to France for the entire time. I was supposed to go to France, then England, then I don't know. But now it's just France. Now I'm just going to the south of France for 3 months because that's all my visa will allow me to stay. I started planning this trip. I was like, yes, I am going to go to France for 3 months and it's going to be great. But then life throws another curveball at you. When I told my management that I wanted to spend 3 months in France, they weren't a huge fan of that idea. And that being one of the main reasons, combined with some other factors, my management decided they are dropping me. This scared me a lot because it just feels like my management is like a safety net for me, and to think that we will no longer be working together come May, which is when I'm basically leaving for my trip, I felt like the universe just punched me in the face again, and I was again like lost and confused, like should I even go on this trip now? And again, I asked the universe, what am I meant to do? Am I meant to stay? Am I meant to go? What's happening? And again, I got the response to go, that it was going to be okay to go. Despite everything, despite all the challenges to prepare myself for this trip to France, I am finally fucking going. And sorry, I needed to slip the F word in there because also, by the way, I'm bringing my 2 dogs. I'm leaving for 3 months. I can't just leave them here for 3 months. Like, they're my children. So George will be coming with me. Momo will also be coming with me. There she is. Can you see her? Okay, sorry. Good night. Good night. I have enough money to go to Europe for 3 months. I'll be staying in Nice and Antibes and taking little trips to Saint-Tropez and Italy with my friend Julia. Let's finally talk about the title of the video, which is 3 months to eat, rest, and love in France. As you might be able to tell, this trip is heavily inspired by Eat, Pray, Love, the book. And for my trip, I knew I always wanted to document it, but I wasn't sure what angle I was going to take until I read the book for a second time, and I was like, I'm going to use this book as my guidepost. So I'm going to take Elizabeth Gilbert's 3 main themes, tweak it a little bit to fit my own circumstance and my own life. So first of all, we have eat. I haven't come up for my own word for eat, but what I plan on doing in France is to learn the French way of preparing and enjoying food. Reading Eat, Pray, Love really opened my eyes to how different the culture in America is from France. That probably goes without saying, but you don't realize like how different your mindset is from people in a different culture. Our food system is really, really poor compared to the food system in Europe, where everything is fresh and unprocessed and mostly organic. I want to learn how to cook the French way, as if you follow my Instagram, you know that cooking and making recipes is such a huge part of my life. It's such a huge love for me. It's one of my love languages. And what better way to experience a new way to prepare food than in France, where they have some of the most incredible food. In fact, California cuisine kind of originated from France. Like the farm to table vibe came from France. Also, the enjoyment of food. In America, we tend to overindulge that, and we tend to eat so much processed food, which I already do my best to avoid in my day-to-day life already. But I want to experience what it would be like to make food that's seasonal, that is literally farm to table, and hopefully bring a part of that back to California. Pray. I am not looking for a new meditation practice like Elizabeth was in India. I'm not looking to find a new prayer practice, but I want to practice the sweetness of doing nothing. I want to be able to sit down on a chair and be like, I don't need to be thinking about work right now. I don't need to be thinking about what I need to do tomorrow or this afternoon. I want to learn how to enjoy the moment where I am, be where my feet are, shut my brain off. Especially in America, we forget the point of living is to live in the moment, to live for the mundane things. Life isn't all about capitalism and efficiency and being productive. And that's such a thing I used to pride myself on being, is like being constantly busy, being constantly productive. And you know what? That has not led me to my happiest and best self. That has led me to breaking down, burning out, and feeling overall unsatisfied and deeply upset with my life. So It is my intention to practice nothing while in France. And let's move on to the last one, which is love. 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 I have been single for 4 years now, and I'm not upset about that. Honestly, for the first year, I was definitely needing that space. For sure. I got out of a toxic relationship, really took a toll on my mental health. So the first year was much needed to be single. The second year, I had just gotten into content. So, okay, I can accept that. The second year I needed to be single for the second year as well, because I was just learning so many new things with starting this content journey, and there was no brain space to think about dating. However, now I'm going into my 5th year of being single, so I think it's probably time to start putting myself out there and to stop playing games, because honestly, I downloaded a couple dating apps and I'm just a girl. Okay, let's just leave it at that. I think it'd be fun to try dating in a new country, to try dating in France. I don't want to hear anyone tell me anything bad. If you have genuine concerns, I'm open to hearing them, but I want to go into possibly dating in France optimistically, because why go into something pessimistically and then you do have a bad time, than go into something cautiously optimistic and we'll see what happens. But then the second part of love is to find love for my career again, because as I said, it's really easy to get sucked into chasing external validation and no longer creating for the love of it, for the creativity, for the love of creativity. I think this is going to be such a good opportunity for me to reconnect with that original why, that original love for content, that original love for creatively expressing myself in the way I do. I want to love what I do. So much of your life is spent at your job, and I'm gonna do my freaking best to love what I'm doing. And that's what I hope to explore in France these next 3 months. I'm going into these next 3 months feeling really, really optimistic. I'm very, very grateful that I get to do this. Really come out of it feeling more clarity in what I want from creativity, food, what I want from my life, maybe even what I want from a new partner. And I just want to thank anyone who is going to choose to join me on this journey, following me and watching my videos or reading my Substack, which I'm going to start posting on this trip. The link will be below if you want to follow along my Substack as well. I'm going to do my best to live up to the intentions that I am setting for myself for these next 3 months. I'm excited. I am excited. If you have listened to this entire video, thank you so much. I really am grateful for anyone who's here in this little community that we have. J'espère que la vidéo vous a plu. C'est parti. À bientôt.